So I wanted to make this uh, video to try to be a bit more clear on things I tried to say in the first one I ever did. Obviously, playing a game and trying to talk about something is incredibly difficult, as you can see that I struggled with immensely. So I decided to learn how to actually edit videos a little bit, so now I'll be able to put some gameplay over screen as you should be able to see while I talk separately, just to give you a little something to look at while I talk, because I find just talking to a blank screen incredibly boring. So, bipolar. Bipolar, by definition, it's a mood disorder. It causes extreme mood swings from emotional highs, mania, and lows, depression. And they can last weeks or months in either phase. It really depends on the person. Me personally, I suffer from depressive bipolar. So I go through long periods of apathy, of disinterest, um, oftentimes not doing things simply because I don't have the energy to do so. And it can be difficult at times. I'm in a good place with my medication right now where excuse me. I'm in a good place with my medication right now where I feel like I can function. Now, would I obviously want to feel better than just being able to function? Yes, but sometimes you have to take the little victories. I just finished my homework for this week, and let me say that was quite difficult. I also suffer from major anxiety, and everybody knows what anxiety is, so I'm not going to explain it in any greater detail. But my brain likes to work things up to be bigger than they are, and as a result, I put things off because I'm so intimidated by them. So my homework for this week was simple. It was read a chapter from my history book, take notes, and do some English. Um, we did compare and contrast last week. This week was, oh dear God, it's been so long, I can't even remember what it was. Oh well, regardless. And the English I actually blew through in one day. I'm rather skilled when it comes to English, and so it was quite easy for me to blow through that homework and not be too intimidated by it. Not be too intimidated by it. Not be too worried about it. Now, my history is a subject I'm quite passionate about, but even then, sometimes my anxiety just likes to take over and overwhelm me, and I end up procrastinating. I saw my history book. It was just a chapter with notes, 25, 30 pages or something like that with some notes, relatively easy. And I apologize if you heard that um, Steam notification. And I opened the book, I sat down, and I opened up my online source to see what my questions were that I had to answer from the chapter notes. And for some reason, my mind was like, see what's next week. And I knew I shouldn't have, but I did anyways. And what do you know? I look at what's next week and I see a 2-page essay review, and my anxiety goes through the roof. I suddenly get worried. I suddenly get terrified. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to get this chapter done. But if I get this chapter done, it doesn't matter because I'm going to have this essay review next week, and my brain starts going, my mouth starts running faster and faster, and then all of a sudden, it just becomes so overwhelming and so incredibly difficult to fight because I mean, it's in your head. You can't escape from your own head. And if you can, I applaud you because I can rarely get out of my own head. Once I'm in a state, it is very difficult for me to fight or work my way out of it. But I dealt with the anxiety for the last 3 or 4 days now. I mean, I would open my book, I would write maybe a sentence for a note, and then I would just stare at it, and I would freak out in my head. I would just freak out in general. I'd watch YouTube videos to distract myself. I would do a chore or two to distract myself. I would sleep sometimes because when I get so racked with anxiety, sometimes that affects my moods, and I just want to sleep to, make it all go away and forget about it for a little bit. And it's so strange because if you're here for bipolar, just to hear about my bipolar, a hard thing is that I can't give advice on what can pull someone out of a mindset. I did the same thing for the last 3 days. I stayed up late playing games with my friends. I woke up late. I kind of goofed around. And my mood was consistent, just anxious and depressed. And for whatever reason this morning, even though last night was the same thing, I played games late, I woke up late this morning, I just felt motivation. I didn't feel like I was going to be bothered in any way by my anxiety or my depression. I just could feel it. And I blew through my work. I did it. Easy. One, two, three. It took me less than an hour to do. And it's just funny to me because I have no idea why. You know? Excuse me. I have such self awareness because of my bipolar. I overanalyze myself like crazy to see every little thing that could be impacting me. Whether it's when I go to sleep, what I am eating, how often am I, going for walks or working out, which I rarely work out anymore, but that's beside the point. Trying to analyze all these little factors into how they impact me and how I react to them to try to better myself and avoid situations that can affect my mindset. And despite doing this for quite some time now, I still struggle to figure out, you know, how moments like that happen, where I can just, like in a snap, get out of that rut. I understand that part of my bipolar is that's how it works. Sometimes it'll only last for a couple days, and I'll be back to quote unquote normal. But I still feel like there's something more to it than just all of a sudden my brain kicked it into gear one day. I don't know what it is, but I hope I can find out that idea, write it down, never forget it. It's been an interesting time. It's early November, so I have to re-sign up for FAFSA so I can get student aid. I didn't get student aid in my first year, so I just paid straight out of pocket, which I am never going to do again. That is ridiculously expensive, even for a tech college that like I'm going to now. And after FAFSA, I have to sign up for classes, which is going to be interesting because I'm not sure how I want to tackle these. I only did part-time. I took 2 classes this semester. And quite honestly, I'm breezing through them despite my anxiety and my woes and my other issues. I've breezed through these so far. I, my history, I'm at like a 30.99 out of 33. In English, I'm at a perfect 100% so far. So I'm debating whether I take 3 classes next semester, try to boost myself up a little bit more, or if I stay at 2. Because the classes I want to take next are a math and science class. I am horrible at math and science. I mean, absolutely the worst. I cannot emphasize enough just how bad I was at them in high school. And it makes me anxious to think about me taking 3 classes when I know 2 of them I feel like I will struggle with immensely. But at the same time, I feel like I need to challenge myself more because I'm getting into the habit of doing my assignments, immediately forgetting about them, and getting lazy with it. I'm worried that for my final exams, I'm not going to remember it, or at least not well enough remember what we did throughout the year and end up doing poorly on them because I did not have enough on my plate to keep my schedule or to keep a schedule, I should say. My schedules have been horrible since I don't have to meet in person or virtually for any classes. It's just do what you want, turn it in by the date. I've been messing around for whichever days I choose, doing my homework whenever I want. Not the structure that I think I need in order to excel and feel confident in what I'm doing with these classes. All sorts of wonder right now. It's beautiful outside. It's sorry to change topics like that, but it was 75, 70 degrees out today, which is pretty unheard of for this time of year. So I got to go for a nice walk, which helped clear my head and lower my anxiety. It's crazy how that works. Like I just a simple walk with my mom, like 3 miles, and I can feel as I'm walking just all of this anxious energy, the tension, even some of my depression, some of the low feelings just kind of flow away while I walk. To breathe fresh air, to hear animals like the ducks in the pond nearby or birds chirping overhead, maybe a snake along the path that we walk. It's so calming and it's so therapeutic, especially in times like these where we're told to stay inside all the time. And I do, for the most part. I'm no idiot. I know what to do, and I do my best to obey it to the best of my abilities. But man, these outdoor walks are so therapeutic. I would highly suggest if you're ever feeling off and you can muster that energy, go for a walk. No workouts, no jogs, no lifting weights. Just go for a walk if that's the most you feel you can do, because it will help immensely. Not just in the moment. I feel like the effects last. To stay consistent with it would be the best idea, but especially coming from me, or I guess I should say coming from me, I understand if you cannot. I am horrible with consistency. If it's one thing that I have continuously worked on and not made an inch of progress with, in my opinion, it's consistency. I'll go for a walk for a full week, almost like I got a good rhythm going, and then I'll miss a day next week, and then I won't walk for 2 weeks. And I don't mean like walk anywhere, I just mean like an extended period of outdoor exercise. And it's hard. I don't know why I struggle with consistency. I don't know why I can't just get up and do it, but it's something I've worked on continuously and am still yet able to find something to give me that extra boost to keep me in that direction, to keep me consistent. But that's my little self update for this week. I think I'm just going to update myself weekly on these matters, as I think daily with only 2 classes is not going to be enough to actually make a decently lengthed video about it. Oh, would you look at that? I smashed my knee on my desk and now it's bleeding. That's fun. But yeah, there you go. There's the first week of November school review and bipolar, a more in-depth look at bipolar. So, go for a walk again tomorrow, Joe. You little fat boy, you need to do more walks. And don't worry about your essay next week. You'll probably get it done in 2 days and never think about it again. See you next time, big fella.